Waimea Bay on the north shore of Oahu. During its summer slumber, it is peaceful and beguiling, as enticing as a backyard swimming pool. However, as summer changes to winter, the sleeping giant awakens, and the once tranquil bay becomes one of the Pacific Ocean's most awesome sights. Great mountains of water thunder towards shore, and a few brave men stroke out to meet them. When conditions are right, some of those men come together at Waimea to take part in surfing's most prestigious big wave contest, the Quiksilver Memory of Eddie Aikau.
I've often searched myself in regards to, what creates the standard? How do you create a standard? Because, when you say, I'm going to hold something on 20 feet, well, who realistically can say what is 18 and what is 20? You follow me? It's hard. It's a subjective call. So what I've learned about Waimea sort of tells you when it's 20 feet. And this is why, I coined the phrase, the bay called today. Four rides is what's going to be counted after the second round.
To all the contestants, we want everybody to go out there and enjoy yourselves, but please be very careful and always remember, Eddie will always want everybody to be safe. So, enjoy yourself. Miss Clyde?
I'd like to wish everybody good luck out there. The waves look pretty good.
Well, this is a really unique event because it's a 24-man invitational event, and the surfers get to surf 2 separate times, and they're scored on their best 3 rides, regardless if it's the first round or the second round, and the top 3 scores of the 2 rounds combined would determine the winners.
Once you get out there, for me it's a lot easier, but I sit here on the beach and have butterflies and go, God, this is so nerve-wracking. And once I get out there, I have a great time, and I caught my allotment of waves before the well, too soon. My heat's still going on, but you can only catch 5 waves and you got to go in.
Yeah, there wasn't all that many huge ones. It's like flat, and then all of a sudden like a 25-footer or something will just arrive out of nowhere. So it's just, just kind of have to be on your toes at a really hard heat. All the guys in my heat were absolute experts at Waimea,
Challenging, pretty textured. There's a smooth zone right in mid-face. That's kind of the sweet spot you want to get to, and it's challenging. Everyone else is competing in the same environment, so you know, whether it's good or bad, you're all battling, you know, as best as you can do.
Of course, you know the big move here, Waimea, is the drop. Wave selection, very important. Oh, man, next one. That's coming out the back. Next one. Here we go.
That was a mega set.
That was, man. That was the biggest set of the day.
I'm going over. It was, huh?
It's pretty fun, actually. I only missed the big one. The big one was right there and I almost got it. But next time.
Yeah, look at it. It's beautiful. It's so fun out there. And there's nobody out. Just like everybody's laughing, playing around. It's cool.
Everybody surfs good. This Mother Nature came to me at that one big one, and I just told myself, I'm gonna be out here. I don't want to make a fool of myself. Just want to get a big one and get the bugs out, and let's get going. So I got my 5-wave pretty quick.
Well, it's a light onshore. You know, it's as big as you can really paddle surf waves. It's probably 20, 25 feet. The light onshore kind of makes the surface bumpy and hard to deal with, but it makes it easier to get onto the wave. So you get on, but then you've got to deal with all this chop and bump. And sort of a couple of times I got actually launched and got a bit of air on the way down. I thought I was going to come off with my board handle it really well.
The late Eddie Aikau, known today among surfers simply as Eddie. In many ways, Eddie set the standard that is used to measure all big wave surfers who have come since. Born May 4th, 1946 in Wailuku, Maui, Eddie would become one of the finest big wave riders Hawaii has ever produced. As a symbol of aloha, self-sacrifice, and humanity, he will always be remembered.
Eddie is a wonderful person. We used to work together as a lifeguard. He's a good lifeguard. He's a good surfer. He loves to surf at Waimea and wherever the waves are big.
Eddie formed a unique relationship with Waimea. Few surfers who have attempted to ride her towering walls have known the bay as well as he did. A true Hawaiian, Eddie loved the sea, and it was during one of his ocean adventures that he would return to her embrace. Eddie was a crew member aboard the Hokulea, a replica of an ancient Hawaiian sailing vessel, when tragedy struck. The ship capsized in heavy seas, and the lives of all aboard were in jeopardy. Eddie paddled away in search of help and was never seen again. The other crew members stayed with the boat and were saved.
In actuality, only one person on that canoe that could possibly, if anybody had a chance, would have been Eddie. And David said, no, Eddie, you stay with the ship and everything. But he really, he begged to go for help. So he went, But the reason he went was because he loved his crew members.
For more than a decade now, the phrase Eddie would go has been both a slogan and a mantra among big wave surfers, urging them to push the boundaries of the sport. Before 1999, the Quiksilver and Memory of Eddie Aikau Big Wave Invitational had been held only twice to completion. The Eddie, as it's known, can only be held in the largest of waves because it is dedicated to a surfer of the greatest courage and the largest of hearts.
Started off kind of bumpy and choppy, but seems to be cleaning up right now. I think we're going to be able to have a good contest.
Ooh, brother, chicken skin, good waves. The whales held all day long. Ooh, here's the set right here. Woo! Oh! Sorry, brother. We got some action in the water.
Did it for me. Just did me in.
That was an incredible drop. It looked like you free fell 5 stories. How big was that wave, do you think?
5 stories. Yeah. You can tell him 5 times too. It was mean. I mean, the wipeouts out there. Noah Johnson just horrendous wipeout. Yeah. And then he got sucked over the falls, took a breath, went back down, and his ball just tombstone. I think for like 2 waves. This is incredible. Tell you what, no matter how much you train, Mother Nature's still the winner.
It is life or death situation, and it's really no joke out there when the Mother Nature's throwing in some motion like this. And main thing that everyone is safe out there, outside of getting the biggest wave.
Dangers involved in big wave surfing is something like breaking your leg, like somebody broke their leg this morning, I heard. And I can relate because I broke my femur almost 10 years ago, and it's not funny. It's not too funny, but it's serious sport, especially Waimea Bay when it's big, and when somebody's in trouble out there, it's serious.
Ocean, bring it back to me. Crawl under the earth and find yourself something to eat. That's fine if you feel selfish when life brings you to your knees. That's fine if you feel selfish, just say, so live it for me. Don't you leave me right here like this. I sing it to the quicksand of my bed. The monster inside me is showing its head. And I'll be in this. Don't leave me right here like this. I sing it to the quicksand of my bed. The monster inside me is showing its head. I'll be in this. Open my arms, watch the universe falling my chest. What I feel ain't nothing yet. Dreams of colors fade to grand. What I see, this fantasy makes you to my reality. Living in my weakest seat will only cause me to bleed to see. It melt me here right to my clothes, scorch my skin and to the bone. I know you're there hiding in your hair, afraid of what I've come to bear. Hear my voice twist with the pain. I know it doesn't sound the same. Now that there's not much left of me, answer the phone and cry tears of
I only caught one wave that round. I was trying to better my scores from the last round and I had pretty good waves to better, so I was being real selective. And the ocean seemed to slow down a lot then. The one wave I had was pretty good. I don't know if it'll be better than what I had or not, but I was sort of, just stuck to my game plan and tried to enjoy it, just enjoy it, being in the water with 6 guys,
Yeah, you can't see much. You gotta really twist your neck around. but
yeah, you didn't see anything on that one, huh? It slapped you.
It slapped me. Yeah, it put me down. Quick, too. In a second.
What about the money?
What about the money?
They got money. I thought they were just clearing the lineup for us, and that was our bonus.
You're just doing this for fun.
That's fantastic out there.
Yeah, you're not too worried about the money out there. You just don't want to get hurt or something.
Yeah. Survival stance.
Survival stance. Yeah, your stance looks pretty wide, Carol.
Eddie, as you know, had a job here at the beach, saving lives, and I also was with him at that time, and we had enjoyed surfing big waves here for many years.
Yeah, Eddie died in '78, and luckily I was able to surf with Eddie, become friends with Eddie, and he helped me out a lot when I first started surfing Waimea Bay.
My fondest memory of Eddie is paddling out here one morning, early in the morning, and all I could remember was Eddie was hooting to himself out there, and I could hear him screaming. And we were paddling out there. I just see him taking off, and that's pretty much my memory of Eddie.
What I expected from the Quiksilver is to honor Eddie. Waves, big, small, doesn't matter. The idea is we're here to honor one of Hawaii's top watermen, and that's what's important.
this event is one of a kind. It's being that it's in memory of Eddie, who is one of the king of aloha, you know, in Hawaiian spirit, and he meant a lot to the Hawaiians, and I mean, he's an inspiration for me, and just to be part of something that has this much aloha, literally. I mean, everybody in the lineup, you know, the people here on the beach, you know, the people running the contest, the people in the line, you know, it's just a great feeling to be part of something so happy and free and good experience. It's a great experience.
It was a beautiful day. It was incredible. It's really hard to believe. Everything was so perfect. Like, the waves were fun, big. It was great in the water. Everybody was having the best time. Everybody surfed really good, and it was just a beautiful day. This is definitely my dream, you know. It's what I wanted more than anything all my life. I cannot believe this just happened. It's really, I'm so stoked. It's like a big, yeah, basically no words.
For decades, surfers who wanted to test themselves in giant waves have had to travel to Hawaii. In the early 1990s, however, rumors of a world-class big wave spot in Northern California began to circulate. At the heart of the rumors was a very real reef break just outside of Half Moon Bay. Many surfers had seen the wave from a distance, but only a handful had ridden it. This cold, powerful, forbidding wave has proven to be one of the most dangerous and spectacular surf spots on the planet. This winter, it was also the site of a dramatic surf contest, the Quiksilver Mavericks Men Who Ride Mountains Big Wave Invitational.
You know, from the first time I caught a wave out here, I knew that there was something different about this place. And I knew it was going to be a long time before I ever uncovered the magic that this place has held all those years. And I'm really excited that it's come to where it is. It's like one of the best big wave surf spots in the world.
Yeah, this is the inaugural year. It was actually the first event ever held at Mavericks, and it was something we thought up last summer. We thought it would be it's a good time to kind of honor the surfers, the guys that surf Mavericks every day.
Well, it's kind of mayhem this morning. We were off Tony Rayner. I drove up from Santa Cruz this morning, and it was just stuck on this sleepy little town, and it was just active at 6 o'clock in the morning. There's people everywhere, and I was like, oh, okay, it's on, I guess.
Yeah, we've been waiting for a while. Been waiting since November, and you know, finally, hopefully, it's going to happen.
The fog's kind of setting in a little bit. Looks like it could be a iffy kind of situation, but we're all ready to rock and roll.
We headed out of the harbor to go check out the waves and see what was up, and within 10 or 15 minutes, we were lost in the fog. I've never been so scared, terrified.
At this point, I'm just pretty curious to see what the conditions look like out there. For a long time this morning, we've been sitting in the harbor, so we really don't know what it looks like out there. We've heard mixed reports as to how big it is. but it sounds like it's definitely big enough for the event, and at this point, just eager to get it started.
We're gonna go 1 round, 5 men, best 3 waves, 1 hour heat. And we'll just let it roll and see how it turns out.
15-foot plush, and a little bit choppy, but pretty easy to ride. Real inviting waves. Nothing really, I mean, it's always scary surfing big waves, but nothing really like too scary, you know. So it's kind of an inviting day.
That was my first wave, and I just head deep down and went for it, and it was kind of late, and Brock actually took off on me in front of me, and I just kind of followed him, you know, the whole time down the face, and I made it, and it was a pretty critical wave, and that kind of started the ball rolling for me, and I started to get into the rhythm.
Got stuck at the top, didn't get in early enough, just got flung. Yeah. Buckled it, brand new board too.
It was a nice wave, but I caught some warbles going down the face. Oh, it was bad.
So it was a lot harder because it was shifting around a lot, you know, which is cool because it made it, you know, made it adverse, which is what big wave surfing is all about.
In December of 1994, the secret of Mavericks was suddenly and abruptly thrust into the national spotlight. Hawaiian Mark Fu, one of surfing's most respected big wave riders, tragically lost his life at Mavericks only a few days before Christmas. His death would shake the surf community and forever act as a reminder to all who surf Mavericks of its lethal power. It was Fu's mastery of Waimea Bay that earned him respect as one of Hawaii's best big wave riders. His pursuit of huge surf took him all over the world and led him into other arenas as well. In the early 90s, Mark worked as a magazine journalist and a broadcaster for nationally televised surfing events. But it was his skill in big surf that set him apart. And it is for that reason that every time someone paddles out at Mavericks today, they remember Mark Fu.
It's really cool to see everybody come together and get out here and catch some good waves, and everybody's stoked, and I'm stoked.
Shining bright in the sky, the boy on a bike's heading high, and I'm
I was pretty happy. I got like 3 pretty solid waves. Seemed like from the heat before, the first heat didn't have a whole lot of surf in it, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of waves to choose from. Our heat had like a lot more waves, so I got 3 good ones. Hopefully it'll work. I got on the plane at midnight, got here at 6:45. By the time I got my rental car and got out here, it was like, 9 o'clock. So technically I would have probably missed my heat had they started on time. So it did work out real good for me, that the fog was in and that the boat was still here when I got here. That's pretty typical Ken, running late, getting here just in time.
It's a cold, dreary, big wave spot. You know, it's challenging. It's sort of like alive. You know, I mean, the spot just seems like alive and gray, and it's got a lot of, you know, I mean, all big waves have power, but when it's cold and powerful, it kind of gives it a little bit more of a sort of a spooky aura.
I don't really like the cold water. After surfing it for almost 30 years, it's lost its appeal. But I still like to surf the big waves, and this is the biggest wave around, so.
It's definitely a real wave, and a real exciting wave, and a real challenging wave.
Oh, it's a great wave. It's a world-class wave for sure. It's definitely one of the top 2 best big wave waves. It's this and Waimea, really. They're like, they're sort of brothers. I consider them brothers, you know, like they're 2 really good waves. Waimea's a little bit more attractive because of the warmth, but here's a little bit more, you know, gloominess and boulders and big people, you know. It's a great place, I like it.
I saw a pretty big set right off the bat, right when the heat started. And, I really wanted it, but I wasn't sure if I was going to go right or left. And so I just took off, and then it looked like the right was more doable, so I just tried to hang on as long as I could. I pulled up tight, and then the thing just ignited right where I was, and then I just got cartwheeled pretty much. But it wasn't that bad of a wipeout as they go. A lot worse wipeouts, so I got pushed under a couple pretty big ones. And then it let me up, and I was able to just relax and then hop on the back of the ski. Those skis really make a big difference on a day like today.
Caught a small one and then a pretty good one, then another small one, and I wanted to get a good one, and I don't know, somewhere in there I just kind of had a fun section. I tried to do a nice cutback and got clipped in there, and then there was 2 or 3 big ones behind it, and there's nothing I could do. I just went straight through the rocks. And,
Did you go right in between those 2?
yeah, I was looking, I know the holes really well, so I knew where I was, and the jet skis were there trying to pick me up, and I told them I'm okay, you know, but I probably should have grabbed on because I would have got back out here quicker. They dropped me off at the buoy. I thought at that point that I would be able to paddle out of there. And then the next 3 just blew me through, and the current's really accelerating through the rocks. And by the time I was on the other side of the shelf, it was like coming upstream, you know, I was so far gone. You know, I caught a couple good ones. I didn't really particularly have a great day, but I had fun.
I wish I could have got a couple more big ones. I got a good one in the beginning of the heat, or before the heat actually. I thought the heat was on and I got a good one in the beginning, and then got a couple other good waves, but nothing that really stoked on. But I was just happy to be here in this contest and be a part of it, and this place is insane.
I go down my way with anyone who tries. I'm not afraid of you, I'm not a man, and I'll take on any wave of any size. And when you say that I've gone overboard, well, I'll tell you that I just...
Santa Cruz local Richard Schmidt is a rarity among big wave riders. Quiet and unassuming. Meet him on the street, and you'd never guess that he's one of the most fearless and respected surfers on the planet. Throughout his long career as a pro, Schmidt has performed well in all types of conditions, but when the surf gets big, that's when he shines.
I take an approach to riding waves to be very relaxed. I try to be very relaxed out there. I don't try to do too much movement. I have a lot of experience in big waves, so that kind of helps. But I think just approaching the wave where you can just kind of relax and enjoy the ride rather than be intense and trying to tear it up or fight the energy, you know, that's kind of my philosophy, just kind of go with the flow.
Richard Schmidt is one of surfing's great modern ambassadors. His knowledge and love for the sport has compelled him to share it with many others. Most of the next generation of great competitors and big wave riders in the Santa Cruz area are proud to cite Richard as a mentor, and through his Learn to Surf videos, surf school, and surf camps, he has been able to share the simple pleasures of surfing with many people. Even after having surfed some of the biggest waves in the world, Richard knows that it's hard to beat the exhilaration of catching that very first wave.
One of the better ones I've ever got out here, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I just, I started actually using Jay and Flea because those guys surf here a lot, you know.
Line up again?
Yeah, and I thought I'll just go like a couple of feet deeper than those guys after they took off. And I was right in the spot. And Jay was right next to me, and I thought, oh yeah. I thought Jay was going to come with me, but he didn't, and it was really nice.
If I died in the contest as was running home from my school, what would my education mean if I never grew?
I went for the sets, and I'm not going to choose a wave that's gonna kind of act like it's gonna break and then go into the second shelf and break. I'm gonna look for a wave that's gonna break in the bowl. Took off and my nose kind of went under, and I was like, it was pretty critical, and then kind of lifted up and made it, you know, and that was like the biggest one. Felt pretty good though, like the inside ball, if you time it right, you get tubed a little bit, you know what I mean, just be in the pocket at least.
No attention span. What would my grades mean if I died in the combat that was running home from my school? What would my education mean if I never dwelt to the authority that made up all the rules?
The heat was a little slow. I think it was slower than actually a couple of the other heats, but you know, we started out with quite a few medium-sized waves, and then I had like 3 waves under my belt that I felt, you know, decent about. Nothing great, but I really wanted one big one, and unfortunately it went to Richard Schmidt, not to me.
I had a couple of really good waves out there. One really stands out in my head. I thought I took off too deep. It looked like it was going to section on me, and it just held up, and it just felt like I was in perfect symmetry with the wave. And to be on a wave like that without that much energy surrounding you is really a great feeling. And I pulled out, and my heart was just thumping. It was just really a great feeling to be out amidst that.
Surf today to surf tomorrow, you know, the old line. Yeah, you don't want to take many wipeouts here, because, you know, it's sort of like, I don't know, with X-rays, there's sort of a cumulative dose, you know, over your lifetime. There's only a certain amount of rads you can get, and then you begin having problems. And I think Mavericks is like that.
It was a bold call to make the call this morning to do it, you know? I mean, even though it was pretty much from the buoys last night, we were all just claiming it was on, for sure. And then to have Mother Nature obviously do what she does and make it tough on everyone, it worked out because they committed to it and did it, and it worked out.
The Quiksilver Men Who Ride Mountains contest was a success for all involved. It was, however, a day of mixed emotions for event winner Flea Virostko. Flea had modified his hair in support of his friend Sky, who was undergoing chemotherapy, and his heart weighed heavily with the news received just moments after the contest that his good friend Pat Rowan had died unexpectedly from a brain aneurysm. Flea dedicated his win to Pat. For him, it was an overwhelming day.
I don't know, man. It's the first time I've ever won this like this much money or anything. It's cool because it's in my backyard and I surf here all the time, and you know, and all these competitors that were in there were my role models basically. You know what I mean? Brock and Rich and Ross Clark and Vince. And it was Crip out in the water. I was like, okay, this is it. All these guys are here. You know what I mean? So it made me feel good.
Congratulations to Flea Virostko for his victory at the Quiksilver Men Who Ride Mountains contest at Mavericks.